Now it's on. Why, do you want to say something?
Maybe.
What do you want to say?
I don't know. I want to say, what are you going to do?
I'm going to talk about modern. Because I was listening to a Trinket Mage video, watching it a few days ago, and he talks about how to say modern. And in his opinion, what they should do is go back to what modern used to be, which is...
But modern is like computers and that sort of shit.
That's what the word strictly means. Modern is also what they call a magic format.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Just,
Well, you don't like playing, so why would you even need to see?
I don't know.
Okay, so go brush your teeth.
Okay, never nuts.
Never nuts.
Kiss, kiss.
Kiss. So, as I was saying, Trinket Mage was talking about modern. In his opinion, what they should do to save modern, although the recent unbannings seem to have infused it with new life, is to go back what it used to be. Only cards that were legal and standard. What he thinks is only cards that were legal and standard, because that's what it originally was. That's how it was sold to us. Modern was going to be a way for us to play with our standard cards after they rotate in this non-rotating format where you can keep your deck for a long time. But Wizards could not leave that alone. No. Then here comes fucking Modern Horizons and Lord of the Rings and bullshit. And they started making money at it. So I don't think they're not going to do that. His idea, although interesting, of going back to only cards that were legal in standard would be allowed in modern. That's his idea. The caveat to that, of course, is the acceptable part is things like modern masters, reprint sets, full-on reprint sets. Those are fine. Those are perfectly allowable. But he would ban Modern Horizons. He would ban universes beyond that were not in standard. Which, that's what's going to be next year. Fucking universes beyond Spider-Man and bullshit and goddamn standard. So it'll be legal all over the fucking place. I was thinking about his idea. How, it would have to come from the players. It would have to come from us. It would have to basically be like Commander. Commander came from originally the judges, Sheldon Maneri, and his friends up in Alaska. It took off. So if we, the players, wanted a modern set that did not have anything that was not legal in standard, therefore no Modern Horizons, no Modern Horizons, no Lord of the Rings, no One Ring, no Orc Bowmasters, none of this bullshit. The thing is, would very many modern players think that's fun? Would they want it? Would they want to do that? That's a question, because it seems like a lot of people like modern the way it is, how it's a rotating format at a high power level. Interesting. So, if we want this, the player, and I don't care either way, because I find it interesting. I follow some of the discussion of modern, but these are my modern decks. I've had you looking at Eldritch Evolution right here. I've had these decks for years. Last time I updated any of them was when I built Squirrels. About 3 or 4 months ago? Other than that, I don't think I've updated any of these decks for about a year now. Some of them longer than that. And I thought it might be fun to show you my modern collection, because it also, there's another YouTuber, I can't remember his name, he's a Canadian guy. I need to find him so I can give him proper credit. And I've talked about this before, the Battle Box. So if you like playing 1v1 Magic, but your friends don't want to invest in modern decks, and you like building decks, build some that are roughly equal power levels that you think are fun. like this. This is Eldritch Evolution. What Eldritch Evolution is, it's a reaction to the banning of Birthing Pod. So Birthing Pod was banned, and then eventually they printed Eldritch Evolution, so people started playing that. Additional cost to cast Evolution: sacrifice a creature. Find a creature card with CMC X or less, where X is 2 plus the sacrifice creature CMC, and you exile Eldritch Evolution. So that's how they decided to fix Birthing Pod. Deck is pretty straightforward. Just kind of a beatdown deck. Different fun things. So if I need to, I can Eldritch Evolution a Kitchen Finks into a Wilt Leaf Lead, and the Kitchen Finks come back. I've got Shalai, Voice of Plenty, to put counters on my creatures, get them hexproof. I've got Siege Rhinos. Remember Siege Rhino? Nobody plays those anymore. Nobody gives a shit. The foil one is 0 financial value. Voice of Resurgence. Whenever he dies, you get a token that power and toughness is equal to the number of creatures you control. So you can Eldritch Evolution, the Voice of Resurgence. You can get a Siege Rhino. You can get Shalai, Voice of Plenty. You can get a Wilt Leaf Liege. You get all kinds of things. And then the token is green-white, so Liege makes it even bigger. Sylvan Carrier did. Defender Hexproof. Kitchen Finks. Path to Exile. So, see, this is all pretty basic. When was the newest card printed that I've gotten here? I can't read that. This was, what, 2023? I can't read that either. 2013? Probably 2013. Because this isn't the reprint. This is the originals. Yeah, 2013. 2013. Zendikar. She's probably one of the newer cards. And I can actually read the date here. 2016. Overgrown Tomb, Spike Feeder from Stronghold. I don't know when the Spike Feeder, it probably is legal in this deck because of Modern Horizons, to be honest. I don't think they reprinted Spike Feeder into a standard legal deck. So let's take a look. If this idea that Trinket Mage has came to pass, and people built a format where it's only cards that were standard legal at any one time, I'm pretty sure I would lose Spike Feeder. What else would this deck lose? It wouldn't lose a whole lot. This deck would pretty much stay intact. Because you can tell by the set symbols, pretty much everything in here was standard legal at the time of its printing. I mean, Verdant Catacombs, that was in the original Zendikar, that was standard legal. This is in Kaladesh, whatever the hell Kaladesh is called now, because Wizards of the Coast paid a lot of money for some consultants to come tell them, yeah, and in this language you don't print the goddamn cards in at all. This little village, this little dialect of that language, yeah, the people that hear Kaladesh, they can think it's racist. Oh, okay, so we'll get rid of the... What the fuck? Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. This, you know... They could have spent the money on card quality. They could have spent the money on testing. They could have spent the money in so many other ways. But they paid a bunch of bullshit consultants to tell them bullshit, because that's what bullshit consultants do. They come to your company and they tell you bullshit. Oh, this is kind of new. 2017. You can know she's not new because she still has the full frame. This is the sideboard for my build of Eldritch Evolution. And remember, these decks are designed to play against each other. If I took this to a tournament, I'd get my ass kicked. I'm pretty damn sure about that. Flurry Stance, nobody plays that anymore. It's in here because of some of the other decks I've got. So that was Eldritch Evolution. Let me show you Bant Four Swords. Bant Four Swords was originally Troll Worship, but Troll Worship, it doesn't get there. It doesn't do the job. It can be fun, but it just chokes too much. It's missing something. So what would Bant Four Swords lose? Probably not much of anything. So the idea is play hexproof creatures. We've got another set of voices in there. Give them a sword and smash people in the face. That's kind of the idea, with a little bit of counter magic to back up. Some cool swords doing cool sword things. One worship. Still have one worship in the deck, as opposed to 3 like he used to have. Yeah, there we go. Troll Acidic. Give him a sword of fire and ice and just go to town. Geist of St. Traft. Give him a sword. Send him out. Get an angel. She smacks somebody and flies away. Archangel Elspeth. She's pretty new. So, but she was in standard, so I wouldn't lose her if this idea came about. The more I think about it, the more I'd be interested to see if it could actually stand on its own. Because like I said, I don't think too many modern players are willing to... They would give up a lot of power. They would give up a lot of really cool cards in order to get off the treadmill. To not have wizards pushing them into buying new cards, into keeping their decks current. So there would be a tension to see what the player base wants. If more players want to get off the windmill, off the treadmill, and start holding their decks longer, basically having legacy light, or if more players are happy with the current situation and the annual Modern Horizons shake up, and you got to buy new cards if you're going to be competitive. Bullshit. I kind of think that that's where it would go, is more players would want to be competitive and get powerful cards. I could be wrong. I'd like to see... Oh, I've got 2 worships in here. I'd like to see some people put it together and make it work. Prove me wrong. Elspeth Knight Errant. I think she's too slow now. I don't think anybody plays her in Modern anymore. There's another Geist. Sphinx's Revelation. Yep, nobody plays that. So I've got 2 Knight Errants, and I've got Archangel Elspeth. She's nice because she can make something fly, like Geist of St. Traft, who has no evasion whatsoever. He has hexproof, but that's not evasion. And he gets blocked by a stiff wind and dies. So that's Troll Worship. I wouldn't lose anything. Nothing is from Modern Horizons only. Sideboard 4 Pride Mages. I need another card. Okay, I would lose this, but I kind of don't care because I just needed another card for the sideboard, and I had pulled a foil one of these. So I thought, why not? I'll shove it in there, see what happens. Not that I play this very often. Lads in Prague, we just play Commander EDH for the most part. When I go to Struzhna, all the lads out there, all of them each built at least one modern deck. Steve-O has 2. He has Slivers and Burn. Frenchie has Affinity and Big Jimmy. Kind of doesn't matter because if he wants, he just prints it out. He just proxies his deck, and we don't care. So Refraction Trap, that was printed in a... If you've never seen this before, it's kind of interesting. This is against Burn. So if an opponent casts a red instant or sorcery spell, you may pay 1 white rather than the mana cost. And it prevents 3 damage from a source of your choice of deal to you or permanent you control. And if it's prevented, basically it's like... oh, what is that? It costs 1. It redirects 2 damage. This redirects 3. I can't remember the name of the damn card now. It's a card that doesn't really see play. It's a white card. 1 white, instant. Next 2 damage will be dealt to you, or permanent control is dealt to whatever the hell you want instead. So it's kind of like a backhand shock. As I knock all these cards over. This is Bant Nightfall, so I've got Bant 4 Swords, and then I've got Bant Nightfall, which is a straight up combo deck. I got the sideboard kind of mixed up there. There's the sideboard. So this is Straight up combo deck. What it does, and as I go through, if I see any modern Horizons stuff, I'll show it to you. So retreat to Coral Helm. Whenever land enters the battlefield under control, choose one. Tap and tap target creature. That's what I'm going to do. Because I'm going to go, I want to cast, what the hell is she? Knight of the Reliquary. So what this deck wants to do is get a Knight of the Reliquary down and keep her alive. And on this next turn, you just burn through all the lands in your deck. So, sacrifice Forest of Plains. First go get the Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. So all your lands are forest, and then just sacrifice land, pull land, sacrifice land, pull land, and just keep doing that. And then if your opponents, if they're playing any monocolored deck, then you're really in business. I'll show you why. If I can find the damn thing. Let's see, where the hell is it? It's a land. Can't remember what it's called, but I do remember what it looks like. There's only one in the deck. And of course I can't fucking find it. That's fantastic. I love it when that shit happens. There it is, Siduri Step. So you put a bunch of lands in the graveyard by tapping Knight of the Reliquary, sacrifice the Forest of Plains, go find another land. And you just keep doing that. And eventually you hit Siduri Step. Maybe you need it early. Maybe your opponents are going to try to Path to Exile her. So you need to get the Siduri Step out, give her protection from white until end of turn. And then you just keep sacrificing lands until she's over 20 and then swing for lethal. That's kind of the plan. So that's the main deck. I didn't really go through it that much because I want to show you all these decks. Here's the sideboard. One Quasali Pride Mage, there's 3 in the main. Unified Will. Counter target spell. If you have more creatures in the spell's controller, a couple Scavenging Ooze, a couple Heroic Interventions, some Archon of Emerius just for fun. You don't need to cast that many spells. I mean, it's got Spell Queller, which you're going to play on your opponent's turn. It's got Collector Company, which you're going to play on your opponent's turn. A couple of those dudes, some Celestial Purges, Path to Exile. So that, if this idea were to occur, Bent Nightfall would not lose anything. This deck, I think it might lose something. Where did I put that other divider? Oh, I did that. Okay, so let's put Bent Nightfall away. Like I said, all these decks are modern legal, but they're not really modern viable. So this is just burn. Just burn, try to burn. Typical red, white, Boros burn. Lightning Helix, Roiling Void. I used to have Eidolon and Great Reveal, and then I saw that they shifted to Rolling Vortex. They don't play Eidolon anymore, so they were cheap. Went ahead and bought a playset, and now I see they're shifting to Harsh Mentor. So I keep burn kind of updated, but I don't spend a lot of effort on it. Swift Spears, been around for a long time. Original Sign Lava Spikes. Okay, so I would lose Sunbaked Canyon. I knew I would lose something in here. What else? So I would lose the Sunbaked Canyons, which kind of sucks, but doesn't kill the deck. I mean, the deck's been around for a long time. It's always going to be in the metagame one way or another. Screw the Critics. These are cheap, so I went ahead and got some foil ones from the news, whatever the hell they're called, from Thunder Junction. I did get a foil Foundations Boros Charm. I want to get 3 more. They can't be that much. I say that now. I'm probably wrong. They're probably kind of expensive. But I only need 3 of them. Because I like to have foil. I'd like to foil this deck. I'd like to get foil Grim Lavamancer. Yes, I'm still playing fucking Grim Lavamancer. That's how out of date this deck is. Nobody plays goddamn Grim Lavamancer anymore. Nobody. 1 red for a 1/1 wizard. 1 red tap. Remove 2 cards and graveyard from the game. He deals 2 damage to a creature or player. I would really like to get these in foil. That would be beautiful. Torment foil Grim Lavamancer's, but they're 40 euros each. Last time I checked, so they're probably more. Yeah, some alternate art, lightning bolts. There's my other Grim Disco Dancer. Vortex, Swiss Spear. So yeah, I wouldn't lose anything except those Sunday Canyons. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Let's check the sideboard. So this is all part of the main too. So would I lose anything in the sideboard? Do I need these? I still got. What do I have in engineered? Okay, I had engineered explosives against tokens. I don't really have any token. No, against Merfolk this is still okay. So this is still, and there's only one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, yeah, 15. So engineered explosive, Anger of the Gods. That's against Eldritch Evolution, Nightfall. So if I kill the creature, it just dies. So it can kill the Sylvan Caryatids because they're 3 toughness but hexproof. So Anger of the Gods will kill it. Searing Bloods, got a couple of those. Skullcrack, like to get those in foil. Those are really expensive. Well, what, 12 euros each, something like that for foil ones? Yeah, they ain't cheap. Smash to smithereens. Yeah, so I got the Double Masters, or Modern Masters 2. Is that what that is? I don't know. I just got the cheap versions. Core Firewalker. Yep. This is against the mirror match. So if I go to Austrasian and Steve-O's playing his burn deck, I'll roll my Core Firewalkers in and beat him down. Unless he puts in Rolling Vortex, and then I'm kind of screwed. Unless I can get rid of it somehow. Yes, I have unlimited disenchants in the sideboard. I could do Wear and Tear, which would be more mana efficient, but I have these. I have a playset of unlimited disenchants, so I said, screw it. I mean, it's not like I keep saying, I don't take this to tournament. So let's look at this old deck. This deck's been around for a long time too. It's got cards that probably some of you have never seen. Others you've completely forgotten about. Like her. Nobody plays her anymore. 3 for a 1/1 Human Artificer. When she comes into play, I get a 3/3 colorless Golem. And she gives Golem's first strike that I control. So here's the deck. Ether Vial is an Ether Vial deck. Blade Splicer, Eldarizer Displacer. Exile another creature, comes back into play. She comes back into play, gives me another Golem. As long as she's in play, my 3/3 Golem has first strike. La 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 la. Archon of Myria, a bit of control. Everybody cannot cast more than one spell per turn, but I'm planning on using Ether Vial to get my creatures out anyway, so it doesn't bother me. Giver of Runes, Giver of Protection, from colorless or the color of your choice. Another, she can't protect herself. She can only protect others. Path to Exile. I got a lot of Path to Exile, so it was the best removal for a long time in Modern. So I kept Thalia. I've got at least 2. I think I've got 3 in the deck. So 9 creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Lean and Arbiter. Players cannot search libraries. Anybody can pay 2, so they can ignore this effect until end of turn. Mutavault becomes a Golem. So it'd be first striking. Flicker Wisp. So you can Violent and Flicker Wisp in response to one of your creatures getting exiled or killed or something, come back into play as a new object, and you get whatever benefits that creature provided. Stonecloaker. I don't know if anybody ever really played him in Modern. I just thought he would fit the deck. So I can flash him into play, and then bounce a creature I control to my hand. To save the creature, or to be able to recast it or revile it in order to reuse it to get another benefit out of it. Also, I can exile a card in graveyard. So, added benefit, added bonus. Fiend Hunter. Because these are separate abilities, if he comes into play, I put this ability on the stack. And then I exile him, say with Eldrazi Displacer. So he comes back as a new object, and then that resolves. And the creature gets exiled. Since this did not even get the chance to enter the stack, this never happened, so you don't get your creature back. It just gets exiled. Bye-bye, bitch. Restoration Angel. Flashy. Flashes into play. Exile a non-angel. And then immediately return to the battlefield under your control. Now you're looking at this. You're looking at, why the fuck does he have a giant red creature in a goddamn mono-white, colorless, weird Death and Taxes deck? Morph. Play her face down as a 3/3 creature. And then if I flicker her with Flicker Wisp or anything, she flips over. And she's a big beater. Flying, trample, protection from white, protection from blue. Wow. And fire breathing, but I can't generate red in the deck. It's a cool little trick. I didn't come up with it myself. Somebody else was playing Death and Taxes years ago came up with this. And I was reading, the way I came up with most of these is I looked at MTG Top 8 because I had my ideas, and I just wanted to see what the tournament winning versions of those ideas are, because people that actually play in tournaments and actually go through that gauntlet constantly, they refine their decks, they tune their decks, they make them the best they possibly can be. I don't have the time for that, so I let them do the work, and I just copy it. So somebody had her in his deck, and I thought, wow, that's a good idea, I'm going to do that, and I got a foil one. Oh, she's so pretty. What else is interesting in here? Chef at Dunes. Okay. It gives me colorless, which can be important because a lot of the, like Displacer, specifically requires colorless mana to activate him. So this gives me colorless, or I can get white if I really need it, or I can sacrifice it and make my creatures bigger, but only on my turn because I can only do it as a sorcery, which kind of sucks, but meh. It is what it is. So before the camera shuts off, let's look at the sideboard right quick. So the sideboard, I've got a full play set of Warrior Champion. Ooh, you're playing Absent Evolution. You're going to be playing creatures. Blow. Well, actually probably not the best idea. Even Mind Sensor, you saw both band decks, Absent Evolution, Burn, all of them have a shitload of fetch lands. This makes fetch lands a pain in the ass. Oh, you're going to crack a fetch? Okay, bang. You can only look at the top 4 cards of your library. I hope you find the land you're looking for. Actually, I don't. I hope you find shit, so I can beat you. Relic Warder. Comes into play, exile an artifact. But these are 2 abilities. So just like the Fiend Hunter, I can exile an artifact or enchantment, and then flicker him, and then this ability to resolve, that one never enters the stack. Fragmentize, these are kind of neat. 1 white mana sorcery. Destroy an artifact or enchantment CMC 4 less. So this gets rid of worship. This gets rid of pretty much anything in any of my decks. I don't have any artifacts or enchantments in my modern decks greater than 4, I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I mean, it blows up swords, blows up all kinds of shit. Leyline of Sanctity against Burn. So I can't be targeted. There we go. Okay, part 2. I was just talking about Leyline of Sanctity, so a play set of them. So that's the Death and Taxes deck. I wouldn't lose anything. That's kind of cool. I mean, these decks are old. So, not a whole lot of horizons to worry about. So I'm just putting Death and Taxes back away. Soul Sisters. This is a deck that I think is really, they call it March or Life now. I don't think it plays anywhere near like the way I have it. I think this version is just fallen by the wayside. So basically, you just play a bunch of small creatures, gain a bunch of life. Creatures get bigger, smash. White Weenie. This is basically just an iteration of White Weenie. So this schmuck here, lifelink, 1/1. But if you have 30 more life, he's a 6/6 flying lifelinker. Voice of the Blessed. The deck originally played Johnny Pridemates. When this came out, when this is spoiled, I saw, wow, I'm getting rid of the damn Pridemates. This is so much better. The only reason Pridemate can possibly be better, only reason, is because it's not double white. It's one colorless, one white. But this is pretty much, I don't think I have any colorless colorless lands in here, so I don't think it matters. I think I sorted that problem out. I used to have Mutavaults in this deck. So white, never gain life, he gets a counter. If he has 4 counters, he's got Flying and Vigilance. If he has 10 counters, he's indestructible, Flying and Vigilant. So, party target. Squadron Hawk. Like this art better than the original, plus the foil was a lot cheaper in this version. Martyr's Sands. We've got 3 Martyr's Sands in this deck. Reveal X white cards from your hand. Sacrifice her, you gain 3 times X life. She costs 2. Never, ever, ever play her turn 1. Because your opponent might kill her and you get nothing. Always play her on turn 2, when you can at least spend the mana to activate her and get some value. Path to Exiles, Plains, Spectral Possession. Nobody plays these anymore. Triple white. Create triple 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Soul Warden. Now, this is why it's called the Soul Sisters. I have Soul Warden and Soul's Attendant. 3 Attendants, 4 Wardens. I'd like to have 4 of each, but I need land somehow, so something had to get cut. Virtue's Valkyrie, she was in core set, so she stays. If I'm at 27 life, all my creatures get +2/+2, including her. Originally, this deck was playing Honor the Pure. And even though Honor the Pure is more reliable, it comes down, immediately gives the creatures +1/+1, immediately. She comes down, and she gives me life if I play another Angel or Cleric. Martyr's Sands are clerics, the Soul Sisters are clerics. The only other angels are the Valkyrie. He's a monk, so he's not a cleric. So I gain life if she's in play, and I'm casting some of the creatures that I have, and she could beat down 2. So it seemed a better option. Heliod, the Sun Crowd, the Love Muffin version. Indestructible, yeah, I think everybody knows what he does, but I just go through it. So Indestructible, he's only turned on if I've got 5 white pips. Never gain life. Creature I control or enchantment I control gets +1/+1, a counter, and I can give another creature lifelink until end turn. So I can give the Voice of the Blessed lifelink and just really smash into people. Soul's Attendant, another one of those guys. So there's nothing I would lose yet. I know there he is. Ranger Captain to be, I'd lose him. I would go back to playing Ranger Vios. That's what the deck until he came out. This deck played Ranger Vios. Ranger Vios costs 3 colors, 1 white. I think he's a 3/2 with first strike. So I believe he's a 3/2 first striker, and he finds two. I think he finds two creatures with CMC 1 or less. This guy comes in, finds one, but I can sacrifice him and stop somebody from playing non-creature spells. Losing him, it wouldn't really hurt the deck that badly. Not in the environment it plays in. Conclave Tribunal. I only have one in the main. I think I've got another one on the side. Comes into play, exile target non-land permanent, and opponent controls until it leaves. 3, but I can convoke it. And with as many creatures as this deck can pump out, I've got 4 of these. I was really pissed off when these came in. I don't know if you saw the video, the mail call where I got these. So I ordered near mint Spectral Possessions. They came in, and one of them was not near mint, not anywhere close. But it's a kind of card where the financial value at the time was so low, it wasn't really worth getting a refund. He's going to refund me, what, 20 euro cents for the condition? You know, I mean, if it's €1.50 for near mint, €1 for, and I'm off on the prices, I forget what it actually was, but it wasn't that much. Or €1.30 for good condition foils. Okay, so I get 20 euro cents back if I pursue it. And, but I'm still stuck with a kind of beat up foil, and I don't like beat up foils. So I was really aggravated when that happens, because it's not worth the time to really do much about it. You're just stuck with it. Ghost Quarter. Okay, so I do have ways of producing Colorado. What do I have this in here for? Huh. I guess it's good against Yavimaya Cradle's Growth. Or, not much. Maybe I should take it out. Okay, so that's the main deck. Sideboard for this is, okay, Centering Growth, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and populate. 2 of those, some Containment Priest, Cleric, so if Righteous Angels would play out, gain life. If a non-token creature enter the battlefield, so this would be good against both Merfolk and Death and Taxes because they're playing the Vial. It'd also be good against Absent Evolution because they're sacrifice a creature and finding a creature, so it's not cast and exile instead. There goes your Siege Rhino. Grave the Elements. So somebody's playing. If I suspect Burn is going to side in Anger of the Gods, because I don't play these all myself. A lot of times I'll let one of my friends play one of these decks. And a lot of times they make different decisions than I would, so I have to be ready for them. Celestial Flare, target player sacrifice attacking black creature. Oh, okay, so 3 Tribunals, 2 in the side, 1 in the main. 1 Dawn of Hope. I'm really not sure where to put this. I had it in the main. It doesn't seem to do anything there because it's so mana intensive to create the soldiers. I didn't want to get rid of it completely, so I shoved it in the sideboard. Return to the ranks. This is great with Martyr of Life. So I've got 2 Martyr of Sands in the graveyard, white, 2/2, and I can return up to X target creature cards as CMC 2 or less from the graveyard to the bat. So if my opponents are killing a lot of my creatures, I'm going to side in return to the ranks. Stony Silence. Okay. Ban 4 swords. You can't equip your swords. Ether Vial decks, you can't use your vial, so fuck you. I have to pay for my stuff. You got to pay for your stuff too. Eat it. And I say that being the guy most likely to play one of these vial decks. And who built them. Alright, so let's look at the newest deck. This deck would get murdered if what I was describing happened. If a new, I'm not sure what it would be called. I should put newer sleeves in these. I just recycled some old sleeves. These are pretty shitty. Where was I? So, if people actually gravitated towards this idea of playing Modern with only cards that were printed in Standard, no more Modern Horizons, no more Lord of the Rings Middle Earth, none of that. No Assassin's Creed. This deck would get royally. I couldn't play it. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't be a deck. Cheddarfang, he's from Modern Horizons. Squirrel Sovereign, he's from Modern Horizons. Valley Rockcaller, I could still play him, but I wouldn't have any other squirrels to use him with. I mean, he'd be a 1/3 menace when every attacks, I'd have nothing else. No other squirrels to cause people to lose life with. Abrupt Decay, Ravenous, he's from Modern Horizons. Chatterstorm is from Modern Horizons. Squirrel Sanctuary, Verdant Command. You have my Cradle of Growth. This is in here so I can make sure I can get Chatterfang through. If my opponents are not cooperating by playing a forest, I will help them out. I will be a nice guy, and I will let them have forest so Chatterfang can talk to them. Titter Spitter, there's only one in the deck, but it's from Horizons, so this deck would be just decimated. I'd have to just fucking throw it out the window. Metaphorically speaking, I wouldn't actually do that. I'd play it somewhere somehow. Tusky, there's 2 Tuskies in the deck. Unearth, 4 Unearth in the deck. It can bring back everything but Tusky. So I can block freely, I can attack freely, because I know that eventually I'll pull an Unearth and I will get the dude back. Play a lot of it on Arena. I've got a version of the scroll deck there. So the sideboard, Curse Totem, again. Activated abilities creation. This is not good to Chatterfang. It shuts him off. But it shuts off Knight of the Reliquary. It shuts off, because it doesn't say mana abilities, it shuts off the Sylvan Caryatids. It shuts off Noble Hierarchs tapping for mana. It shuts off, wow, it really screws the Death and Taxes. It shuts off Displacer. Burn, it shuts off Grim Malevolent. Wow, this card actually does a lot. Merfolk, it shuts off a lot of things. Abrupt Decay, this is the 4th one. 4 Thundering Titans. So this is great in this deck. If I need to destroy an artifact or enchantment, I also should get a creature. I should have a token, a squirrel. 4th go for the okay, so I've got 3 Unearth in the main, 1 in the side. 4th, the Cheddar Storm. And then the Genie, he plays Modern, or he used to. He's getting kind of bored with it. He started getting bored with it months ago. But he's got a Storm deck. So I thought, okay, if I play against the Genie and he's playing Storm, I need something. I need to do something about it. So what if I weather the storm? So that's my battle box. That's my 7 obsolete modern decks. And if I did what Trinket Mage is suggesting, I wouldn't really lose a whole lot. I would lose this entire deck. It would go poof. There it goes. No more squirrels for you, motherfucker. But I like the squirrels. Sorry, suck it. And then I've got this. This would get hurt a lot too, but it would just go back to an early version. This is the deck that I actually somewhat maintain. I kind of keep it updated. Kind of. Right now I'm a bit behind because I don't have any Flare of Denial. I should be running Flare of Denial instead of Force of Negation. I could easily trade the Force of Negations for Flares of Denials. But I want to take out the Force of Negations and keep at least 2 copies and put them in one of my vintage decks. That's what I want to do. So I don't want to sell them because I want them again. They're fucking €50 each. So modern, I would lose Force and Negation, which I'd want Flare of Denial, which is from Modern Horizons 3, so I would lose that anyway. Smuggler's Copter, I'd keep that. Master Pearl Trident, he would stay. This is from Ixalan, it would stay. Nevermore non-token Merfolk control become tapped. Create a blue 1/1 Merfolk token with hexproof. And I found out, I was really happy to find this out. I think one of you lads that listens to my channel, you told me about this. I can crew it as much as I want. So, at the end of somebody's turn, if I've been keeping creatures around the block, and I've got a Smuggler's Copter, I can just tap them, and crew it, and then get tokens. Svilun, she's from Modern Horizons, so I lose her. Hexcatcher, she's from Dominaria, and I really don't know what would be. I mean, she's so good in this deck. She's so good in Merfolk that I don't know what the hell would replace. I think if the non-standard sets were no longer allowed in a modern form, we'd have to call them something else, like Legacy Light, New Extended something. It wouldn't be modern anymore. It'd be so different because modern has mutated. So if we go back to pre-mutated modern, Merfolk was in the metagame, and if everything else loses all these really powerful Modern Horizons cards, maybe the earlier version of Merfolk would be viable again. You're playing with Cervical Adept. What else? Trying to remember the names of the goddamn cards again. The Lord that costs 3, where whenever you play Merfolk spell, you could tap her and tap permanent. People would play with him again. Because the basic lords, the Lords of Atlantis, and the Master Pearl Trident, so they're from standard sets, so that would stay. I would lose Rishon Dockhand. Vial would stay, Cavern Soul would stay, Trickster would stay, Tide Shaper would go. So the Squirrel deck would be decimated. This deck would just have to revert to an earlier form, or whatever has come out in standard that helps Merfolk, and I don't think there's been a whole lot. Merfolk is pretty much a modern deck, and even though some of these, like the Deeper Pilgrimage, okay, they came out in a recent standard set. Hexcatcher, she came out in a recent standard set, well, relatively, 2022, this has been the last 2 years. But since then, I don't think there's been that much. I should go into MTG Top 8 and see what Merfolk is playing these days. Because, like I said, I like the idea of, if there's a tournament, I have a deck to go to. Cherner Tish runs a Monday tournament, but it starts at 5 o'clock. It kicks off at 5. That's the time motherfuckers get off work. They ain't got time to go down to the card shop. I mean, if you get off at 5, it kicks off at 5. You ain't getting there. Nope. And plus, the tournament entry fee is 400 crowns. It's like 15 euros. Well, if I don't practice much, I don't think I've got that great of a deck. I'm not paying 15 euros to get my ass kicked. It doesn't sound like a good idea. Anyway, the sideboard is old. I've got Relics of Progenitus. I should take these out because I don't think any of my modern deck really cares about this. None of them really care about the graveyard. So I should take those out. I still got 2 Cabal of Warden's Waves in the sideboard. Suppose your opponent's cast target Merfolk control costs 2 more. Abilities your opponent's control, that abilities your opponents activate the target Merfolk control costs 2 more. So, Thieving Skydiver. This is pretty funny against Affinity. I can't grab a whole lot, but I can always grab something. And she's a flying merfolk. That's one of the big problems with the merfolk. Is you got no... Your evasion is from the lords. If your opponent does not have an island, and you don't have a lord, if you don't have the combination, you're just kind of sunk. Because you got no other... You got no trample, you got no flying. Well, she's a flying merfolk, which is pretty damn cool. Picasso, which is Spell Pierce. 1 blue. Counter target non-creature spell unless the controller pays an additional 2. Vapor Snag. And you're wondering, why the fuck do you have Vapor Snag? That's shitty. Because of the worship decks. I was playing against... a friend of mine was playing Troll Worship when it was still Troll Worship, before it became Band 4 Swords. So he's hiding behind a worship. I can't do a goddamn thing about his creatures. And I was playing Vapor Snag in the main at the time. And he's in a great position. He's just whittling me down. I have to keep blocking. I'd gotten him down to less than 1. And he's hiding behind worship next to creatures. And then he decides to play a Noble Hierarch. It's like, oh... Vapor Snag makes its controller, the control of the creature, lose 1 life. It's not damage. So he played the Noble Hierarch, and I smiled and said, okay, I'll send her back to your hand and kill you. I win. I don't think he'll ever make that mistake again. If you've got hexproof creatures and you're hiding behind a worship, don't play shit your opponents can fuck with, because it might bite you in the ass. So anyway, let me get this posted. Easy Schemey wants me to start going through my EDH decks, talking about them. I'm not sure exactly what he means. Does he want me to do them in mass? Does he want me to do them one by one in a more detailed format? So Easy, if you're listening, let me know kind of what you want, and I'll make you happy. And let me know what you think of Trinket Mage's idea. If you play Modern, would you prefer... Let me get a sip real quick. Would you prefer to revert back to before all this extra shit was available? When it was, the cards had to be run through standard. Would you prefer to revert back to a more tame version of Modern, but more reliable, more stable? Your deck, you can actually hold your deck for a few years, not wait for the annual Modern Horizon shake up to fuck with your deck and make you spend another 200 euros on it? Or do you like the way it is now? Do you like the annual shake up? Do you like having to spend an extra 200 euros on your deck every year? Let me know.